something I've never seen before. It's called Air Jet Air Diffuser. It's a hell of a bit of kit.
The instructions come in handy.
Bottom drain. But that little adjustment what I did there.
So you can also use this for pump fed systems like what I'm going to do. But you can also use it gravity fed as well. It's got a T-piece pipe here. If you're wondering why it's set up
6 months. Well, there's a new battery in there now. So happy days.
Hello everybody, welcome back. James the Koi Whisperer. And as you can see, I got the old chest waders on today. Just wanted to say, before we go any further, if you can remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and if you can hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of the future uploads, it'll be very much appreciated. So, coming up in this video, I'm going to get inside of the pond today. I've got to fit a retrofit bottom drain. I'm also going to show you the pump that I've been using inside of the pond, an adjustment that I've made to the pump to make it work better, so I'm not getting any poo or any feces from the koi sat on the bottom of the pond anymore. Since I made the adjustment, I haven't had any poo on the bottom of the pond. So that being said, in theory I don't really need to fit this bottom drain, but I'm going to fit it just to see if it makes any difference whatsoever. So that being said, let's just crack on with the video. But to start with, I've actually been sent a brand new retrofit bottom drain from a company called Filtration. So very much appreciated there. They've also sent me out some bits so I can make the rest of my DIY filter there. So to start off with the video, I'll just run through what I've got and well, just stick around for the video because it's going to be a good one.
Right then, so as you can see, a massive shout out to Filtration. Highly recommend them. If anyone's after any pond products at all, pipe fittings to make your own DIY filters, they very kindly sent me out some bolt heads because they heard in my video that I was after some bolt heads for my filter that I'm designing out there. They sent me some cage adapters to keep the K1 in. They've also sent me something I've never seen before. It's called filter web. Obviously a lot of you guys know I like playing around and making my own filters, and I think it's a very cool idea, to be fair. They catch ultra fines, and it's a funny sort of material. It's like a plastic type of material, but the design is that you take it out of the pond to clean it. I'll go into more detail into this when I actually get into it, but obviously the retrofit bottom drain is what I was mainly after. I'm just going to show you this weighted suction dome air jet air diffuser. It's a hell of a bit of kit, and I'm very interested to see how it works. Obviously we'll go through the box and show you what it's all about, but it comes supplied with everything you possibly need, step-by-step instructions of how to set it up, and well, let's just get it out the box. We'll have a look at it, and we'll go from there.
So yeah, just before we go any further, I just wanted to add, if anyone's like me and like making your own filters and like playing around in bits and pieces, I highly recommend Filtration. I don't know if you guys remember, but when I made the DIY filter box that I've got over there, yeah, I used those bolt heads and I used the tank connectors, and to be fair, they're absolutely outstanding. The last time I actually bought them from eBay, when I first bought them, and I showed them the video that I made, and they absolutely loved the video. So, and they heard about that I was after a bottom drain, so they very kindly just sent me out a load of bits, and I very much appreciate that. It's all a win-win, winner chicken dinner. But that being said, let's crack on with the video because I'm very keen to get this bottom drain out and show you what it's all about, and then I've got to get in the pond.
So I've had a few people point out my clock stayed the same time for the last 6 months. Well, there's a new battery in there now, so happy days.
Right then, so I've took out the box. This is the retrofit bottom drain with the air diffuser on the top. Comes supplied with all of your air line, ready just to plug that straight into an air pump. It comes with the gravel, which I've got to pour into this hole here, and then there's a little cap there which I've got to put on. Also comes supplied with a different hose tail fitting for the air line. Comes supplied with loads of different pipe fittings to suit which pipe size that you need to obviously connect this up. So what I'll do, I'll rig it up how it's supposed to be, and then obviously I'll get in the pond and show you from there. Using the instructions just to make a little funnel to get the gravel in. The only bit tricky so far, but we'll get it in there. The instructions come in handy. So you can also use this for pump fed systems like what I'm going to do, but you can also use it gravity fed as well. There is a step-by-step instruction of how to do it. All the gravel's in, end cap goes in, pushy on tight, it ain't never coming off. Right then, so there she is, all set up. Like I said, there's other fittings available if you want to go complete solid pipe or flexi pipe, whichever way you want to do it. There's loads of different ways of doing it. It all comes supplied with a kit. It's got a T-piece pipe here. If you're wondering why it's set up like this, it's because it's got a hole in the top of this bit of pipe here, a very small hole. And what that does is allow water to enter into the top piece. Through here, it obviously gets sucked underneath, but this hole allows the pump to prime itself. Right, so just before I connect this up, just wanted to show you what I did with my pump, because these pumps come fitted with a cage on them. And basically what happened with the cage, it will only suck from sort of that height. So what I did, I added a 90 to bring it down, so I was sucking right off of the bottom of the floor. So if you imagine that being sat on the bottom, you can see I got it slightly angled, so I'm from my arm being the bottom of the pond, I'm literally sucking from the very bottom of the pond, and I found that there helped out a hell of a lot. But I am going to try this retrofit bottom drain. But that little adjustment what I did there is only straightforward and simple, but it definitely did make a difference, because like I said, having the cage on it, I found there was still a load of poo sat at the bottom. Having this sat at the bottom, the poo was getting, you know, obviously sucked up through there. But whether or not give it a try, you know, it's definitely worth a try if you haven't tried it before. But I'm going to try this retrofit bottom drain now, so I'm going to use this fitting to fit onto the end of that pipe. Right then, so I've got it all fitted, everything's up and running. I have left the pump in the pond at the moment because, like anything, I'm as honest as they come, and I like to obviously do a dry run to start with. My biggest concern at the moment, and it was always on my mind anyway, no fault of the product whatsoever, and also no disrespect to eco filtration, because it's just the fact of what bottom drains are, to be fair. But I personally believe with my pond, the way I had it, I'm just looking at this bottom drain at the moment while it's in place. I know I could maybe move it, try to change it, but the idea is that they're designed to be in the centre of your pond. I haven't rigged up the airline yet. I have had it on and tested it, and it is, I'll show you in a minute, that works absolutely outstanding. The amount of oxygen that comes off of it is brilliant. But I just personally believe with my pond at the moment, I don't know if you can see it, but it is a massive item. It's a big old piece of kit, and it's just crossing my mind thinking, obviously I can lose the pump can get lost, and I can put the pump outside of the pond and have the bottom drain running out with the pipe. But I'm just thinking I've got a lot more pipe work in the pond at the moment. The way it's designed, there's a good sort of 12 inches from the top of the pipe where it runs across back to your pump, how high it sort of sits out of your pond. And the way I've always designed my pond is to hide as much pipe work as possible. And I'm just a bit afraid at the moment that maybe the koi can bang themselves against it, splash against it. And the way I had the pump in the corner, back in the corner, held back the pipes, the reason behind all of that was to hide the pump and the pipe work as much as possible. But I'll jump out the pond now and I'll just show you. Obviously it's a little bit hard to see because I've stirred everything up, but I might leave it running for 24 hours and see how I get on. But at the moment, like I said, there's nothing wrong with the product, but just with my pond, I think the way I had it, it's like sometimes, like they say, why fix something when it's not broken? Maybe it might be better, but I am just really concerned about the koi flashing against it, especially with my pond. And it leads me to believe why, truthfully, that you should fit yourself a bottom drain when you're building a pond to start with, and then you wouldn't have none of this problem or issue. But that being said, like I said, I might just try it for 24 hours, but I'm showing you the air working. There's no fault at all with the product whatsoever. It's just my personal beliefs, what I'm thinking, what's running through my head at the moment. Thinking that some of these fish, they're going to go down there, scrape themselves against it. Like I said, I can move that pump and get it out of the pond, but I'm just a bit immering and ahhing at the moment. Just weighing it all up really, just thinking, I know I can tidy up the pipe work and get rid of the pump, sit that outside of the pond, or even sit that on the ledge. But I just also want to see how it works, because I don't know if you can see there, there's still poo down there at the bottom. And I don't know if the draw rate on my pump, the way that I've set my filter design up, has enough power, because I can only run that pump at 40%. Maybe if I was to run it at 100%, I might see a little bit of improvement, but there's a piece of poo sat down near that bottom drain at the moment, and it's not moved. Which leads me to believe, is it worth me keeping that in the pond for the chance maybe that the fish can damage himself against it? I'd be interested to know what you guys think, I should do, or I mean, obviously it's down to me anyway, but like I said, there's no fault with the product, there's no fault with the service at all. I just think with my pond and my setup that I've got, maybe it's not the best idea that I keep it in the pond. But you've got to try these things, you've got to live and learn, and everyone's pond's different. And that's the key thing about koi ponds. Everybody's pond works differently. With that being said, I'm jump out, chuck the air on and show you what it looks like, because like I said, the product itself is brilliant.
So there we have it then. That's the air on. Got to be honest, it actually works an absolute dream. But what's your guys' impressions now? Obviously, if I keep the air on, it's really good for the pond. I've got loads of air up there anyway, loads of air in there anyway. I've got the backy shower producing a load of oxygen. But if you have a look inside of the pond now, you're seeing it as I'm seeing it. There's no fault on the product whatsoever. It's working an absolute dream. But for personal looks on the pond, the blue sort of disguises itself. But for how much air, I mean, it is an 80 litre an hour air pump that I'm running on it. So maybe I've got too much air running through it. It can more than enough handle it, no problem at all. But you can purely see how much it distorts the pond. And I can't see any of me fish. I know I could set it on a timer, so it would be good for the pond when I'm out here. I could turn the air off and enjoy the fish. But I'm imming and ahhing. I don't know what to do, guys. I really don't know whether to leave it in there. Like I said, there's no fault with the product whatsoever. The product itself is working, well, it is working a dream. I haven't plugged in the airline yet and wrapped it up around, because I'm still a little bit unsure if I keep it in the pond or if I take it out and just have a bit of a rethink. Maybe have a rethink, a redesign, come up with something else. A little bit unsure what to do here, to be fair, at the moment. But you can clearly see that the product itself is working an absolute treat. Yeah, so still a little bit unsure what I'm going to do now. It's coming to the end of the day again now. Been a busy old day. Got home from work, cracked on like I do. But yeah, what I'm going to do, I've decided. I went in and spoke to me wife, and I said, like, I'm going to leave it for like 24 hours, see how I get on, see if I, think that it's going to be better for my pond, or see how I think that it will work better for me. I've got the air off in there at the moment. But yeah, it's one of them situations where it's always crossed my mind of which way. I mean, it might not even be the best way of me installing it. There's still plenty of things I can do and play around with, and sometimes at first attempt it doesn't go how you want it to go. But I just wanted to add that there's no fault of the product whatsoever, and it's just my preference of
me being a bit concerned, obviously I haven't got the biggest pond in the world, and with the size koi that I have, I'm just a little bit concerned, well not a little bit, a lot concerned of obviously with everything else that I've got going on in the pond. It's put the koi at risk anyway with, you know, this floating skimmer. They can bang themselves against that. There's more and more things going on in the pond than what there should be. I know all of this, but the biggest thing that's crossing my mind is obviously the fish, especially my koi. After feeding, especially a heavy feed, sometimes they get a bit of food left in their gills, and what they do, they like to get it out because the food itself burns their gills, especially if you fed them too much. They've eaten like pigs and they get a bit in their gills. But what my fish do, and they've done for years, because they've always had that big open space, and some koi do actually like a dome itself, and they just flash themselves against the dome. Well, my biggest concern is with the pipe work running across the pond the whole way across there now on the bottom. It's just an extra item that the fish can damage themselves against it, like when they flick and they flash like they do, and I expect you've all seen your fish do it before because that's what happens. And it's not parasite related always. Sometimes they just get an irritation in their gill and they decide to go, and there's nothing you can do about it. And having that in the pond, I'm just thinking, it's crossing my mind. But like I said, I want to say a massive thank you to Eco Filtration. Like I said, I've used them in the past before, and I've paid with my own money, and I've bought their products. I can vouch that it's a decent service and a decent, you know, the products are decent. Whether or not I'm going to use this bottom drain's another thing, or if I keep the bottom drain running. But yeah, that's just the way it goes. You live and you learn and you try. And I mean, I haven't give up on it yet. I'm gonna just try something else. Maybe try a different way. Maybe it'd be a good idea for me to try to fit the pump outside of the pond and see how we get on from there. So that being said, there's me babbling on again. But I've got some more new things to show you soon. Obviously, I've still got that filter box that I'm gonna make, and I'll be using the parts that I got off of Eco Filtration there as well for that. So yeah, that being said, let's end the video here. Chuck some comments down underneath because I'll be interested to see your guys' opinions of what's what. And well, on that note, happy ponding, and I'll catch you on the next one.